In this business, we spend a lot of time talking about the big get. That's our name for the first big interview with whatever celebrity or newsmaker is hot at the moment. Author Jane Heller uses the celebrity world as a backdrop for her latest novel, which is called Some Nerve. Jane Heller, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
So this is not morning television. This is really about the magazine world, and your protagonist, your main character is what?
She's Ann Ross. She's a celebrity reporter. She's supposed to interview a movie star who refuses to be interviewed.
Right.
And she's supposed to be a killer reporter who will do anything to get the story. So she's very frustrated. So when he lands in a hospital as a patient under an alias, she thinks if I sign up as a volunteer, I can gain access, get the story.
Right.
Only to find that the experience of volunteering changes her life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and you can see the closing credits. It feels like a movie,
doesn't it? It's a feel-good story, yeah.
In this particular case, does your heroine, does she lose her job because
Yes.
she can't, or she doesn't do something that prohibits her from getting the get?
She unfortunately has a fear of flying, which is where the title, Some Nerve, she loses her nerve.
Okay.
And so this guy that won't be interviewed says the only time I'll be interviewed is up in my Cessna. And she can't get on the plane.
Right.
So she gets canned.
So she gets canned.
Yep.
She's trying to find her life, and she decides to do this volunteer work. And so does her life then, I mean, it certainly feels like a life-changing experience.
It was, because she only volunteered so that she could get in there and get the story.
Right.
And in the course of working with all these sick people, she really found herself.
Now, did you do this? Because you're a research person.
I sure did.
And how much do you have to do, like training and everything?
I went to my local hospital and I said, so could I observe for a few days? And they said, no, but if you'd like to become a volunteer, we'd love to have you. And I had discovered that people email my website and they say, well, we had a medical problem and your books lifted us up. And I thought, if the books could do that, I could do that.
Right.
So
what was that experience like for you then?
Incredible.
Huh.
I mean, I'm still volunteering. I volunteer at Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara.
Wow.
And every Monday I suit up and I talk to patients, and I'm a shoulder to lean on, or someone who tells them a joke, or
How surprised are you by your own response to this experience?
Very surprised. I didn't know that that was something in me, you know. It brought we have Katrina and we have natural disasters that bring out volunteerism in people, but what I think I want people to know is that there are disasters right under our nose in our communities.
Family disasters, personal disasters that take place every day.
And
you certainly would see that every day in a hospital.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's interesting also because as opposed to a regular book tour for this, you're doing a what? A hospital tour?
My first ever hospital author tour, yeah. I just didn't want to just go to bookstores. I'm going to hospitals and speaking about volunteerism and how many great ways there are to volunteer. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and this story. This is really interesting.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, really nice to meet you, Jane Heller.
Well, she's not your normal hospital volunteer. Author Jane Heller held a book signing at Sierra Vista Hospital in San Luis Obispo tonight for her latest novel, Some Nerve. The story includes a character who's a hospital volunteer, so Heller did some research herself. She says it opened her eyes to a whole new world.
I would really love it if people could understand that volunteering in hospitals is such an amazingly inspiring way to give back to the community.
Some Nerve is Heller's 13th novel. Copies of the signed novel are available at Borders Bookstore in San Luis Obispo.
When I first started volunteering, I was terrified. My job was to wheel a magazine cart around the hospital and to go into patients' rooms and offer them something to read. But I didn't know if I'd stumble in during a code blue and accidentally kill somebody. And you know, it's not so easy to talk to patients who may be in pain and maybe not in the mood to talk. But I realized that they're afraid and vulnerable too, and all you need to do is make a connection. Ask a question about a family member, ask a question about a favorite hobby, and pretty soon the conversation just flows and you realize that you're making a difference. So my journey as a volunteer really changed from being, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this, to I can't wait to do this. What I think is possible about hospital volunteering is to improve the quality of a patient's stay in the hospital. I walk into a room, I talk to a patient, I listen to that patient, I'm a shoulder to lean on, I'm whatever that patient needs me to be. And I think it's possible. I can't cure that patient of whatever medical problem they have, but I think it's possible to change the quality of their stay in a hospital. I've been told by patients that I have, and I know others around the country will agree with me who volunteer, that we can make a difference and improve the quality of a patient's life. I think what patients need when they're sick and when they're feeling vulnerable and without their identity and without their dignity is they need a sense of hope. And I would like to think that we, as volunteers, lift them up and give them that hope. And without hope, nothing is possible, but with hope, anything is possible.